I want to talk about something that almost nobody names: why dysphoria can feel overwhelming. It's not because dysphoria is overwhelming by nature, and it's not unbearable by nature either. It's because we don't actually give ourselves the space to process dysphoria, to understand it, to actually build a relationship with it. We've really been taught and programmed to see dysphoria and to treat dysphoria as an emergency, something to be handled with urgency, like it's a problem, it's a verdict, something that must immediately mean something about who we are. But dysphoria, at its core, at the end of the day, it is just a signal. And I deeply believe that signal is your soul's intelligence communicating to you through your body. So no, it is not a diagnosis, it's not a conclusion, and it's not even an emergency. It's just a signal. I drew something to help visually explain this, because dysphoria does not just come from one place. It comes from many layers of being a human being. But a lot of conversations are very surface level and miss the holistic conversation that needs to be happening when it comes to dysphoria. So let's get into it. So at the center you see I wrote, dysphoria is a signal, not a diagnosis. Meaning, dysphoria doesn't tell you who you are, it tells you that something inside of you wants a relationship with you. That's it. It wants your attention, it wants your acknowledgement, it wants your love, it wants your nurturing. And around that center, you'll see are different places that dysphoria can come from. Sometimes dysphoria is a nervous system overwhelm, years of living in survival, always bracing, always holding, always protecting from the world seeing your truth, never fully landing in your body, never fully feeling safe to be you. The body says, I don't feel okay being here. Not because that you're wrong, not because you're broken, because you're exhausted. Sometimes dysphoria can also be identity suppression. You learn early on that parts of you were unsafe to express, so you adapted, you performed, you did what you needed to do to survive. But eventually, the psyche inside said, I don't recognize myself anymore. And sometimes that can feel like dysphoria too. Sometimes dysphoria can be a body disconnection, living from the neck up, thinking constantly, living in your mind all of the time, rarely inhabiting sensations from the body, learning how to fully feel and live. Being in a body can feel foreign when you haven't been taught how to be safe inside of one. Sometimes dysphoria is trauma and conditioning that are about our bodies, what gender should be and should look like, what's acceptable on bodies and what's not, what makes you lovable and what makes you unlovable. Those messages don't just live in the mind, they live in our tissues. Sometimes dysphoria is a sensory or a hormonal imbalance, chronic stress, burnout, sleep deprivation, cycle shifts. Sometimes dysphoria is, spiritual or existential as well. A quiet sense inside saying, I'm more than the life that I'm living. I know that I was made for more than this. And sometimes dysphoria includes what we all know, gender and sex identity. But notice how I didn't put that as the focus. Notice how it's just one part to the puzzle, one piece of the pie, not the entire thing. So with that, dysphoria shouldn't be an automatic conclusion to gender and sex identity. It's just one possible contributor, and that really matters. Because we have been taught that dysphoria means being transgender, but that is oversimplification to a very complex and layered human experience. Sometimes gender is one piece of the picture, sometimes it isn't. And oftentimes it's a combination of many different things. But that's why dysphoria can feel very overwhelming and very intense, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different areas than just gender and sex identity. And when we don't have the language for that, it feels intense, it feels overwhelming, it feels shameful, because we are being gate-kept information and being gate-kept language to help our experience. Language can either limit us or expand and free us. And that's why with this framework, and you can slow down and listen to the body and start to align with your soul's communication, you will get the language for your experience from your soul's intelligence, from your body's intelligence. It doesn't tell you the answer right away. It's not going to just hand you the clarity, but it is going to poke at you where you can begin to start this journey and get to those answers the further that you go. All right, on to the next. Around the outside of the circle, I wrote what makes dysphoria feel overwhelming. So that is in the red writing that you will see, which I have listed. Overall, no permission to go slow, to be human, to learn what it means to be you instead of force and box and identity that disconnects you from the true you. So if you take any human sensation and remove safety and support from that, it's going to feel unbearable. What I'm showing you with dysphoria can be applied to all emotions within. It's actually a universal method I use for the human experience on my clients, but I'm just taking this exact method and putting it onto dysphoria in this way. What it shows us is that the sensation of dysphoria is not wrong. It means the environment isn't supportive yet. And this is why I teach safety before solutions, containment before conclusions, relationship with the body and self before identity decisions. Because clarity that comes from safety is a very different experience from clarity that comes from panic. So at the bottom, I wrote signal. We take the signal from dysphoria, the sensation, and we see it as neutral without putting a narrative or a story or conditioning. We just take the signal and sensation and we start to listen to it with love and acknowledgement so that we can start to create a healthy relationship with it, a conscious relationship with the sensation rather than an unconscious relationship with the sensation. And when we start to come from this conscious place of these sensations in our body, what it allows us to do is integrate them. And from that place, it gives you inner safety, inner trust, inner knowing, which gives you this sense of clarity on who you truly are on a soul level and what you came here to do. And that's not to say you apply this once and you get that magical answer. No, you have to do this again and again and again. Like, this work goes really deep. Dysphoria wasn't sent by God, the divine higher power source, to punish you, to break you, to punish me, or to break me. It was sent as a messenger to us. And you deserve to meet that messenger within with curiosity, slowness, care. And this is why I keep saying dysphoria is truly divine. Not because this is easy. None of this is easy. Being a human being is complex. But dysphoria is very intelligent when you tune in and listen to it. It's really just trying to lead you back to that deeper relationship you had with your true self, your real self, your whole self, your liberated self, before the conditioning took over. And that's why inside of my work behind scenes with clients, we don't work on becoming anyone anymore. We don't work on improving. We don't work on bettering ourselves. We work on remembering who we are. We work on removing these narratives. We work on facing these emotions that have been stored in the body so that they can fully integrate. We work on multiple different things so that they can start reconnecting with that deeper sense of their selves again that they had before the conditioning took over. And if you want to start exploring your dysphoria in a body first and nervous system safe way, I have a free dysphoria guide linked in my bio, and I just updated it for 2026. So click the link in my bio to go ahead and get that downloaded. There is just so much more possible than what we have ever been told or shown. And going within this way can really lead us back to our power. So again, please share this message if it landed. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being curious, and sometimes thank you for being resistant too, because sometimes all of that just means that you're in the right place to grow, to expand, and I appreciate you guys being here. So sending you all love, peace, and power today. Take care of yourselves.